Hello, my name is Orion, and these are the top books I read in 2022. There is a lot of angst in the book if you like reading that, and I actually hate that this book made the list. It's really cute, it's really sweet, it's really funny. I know that this book is probably also in like everyone's favorite books of 2022, so I was really unsure about recording this video. Oh my god, this is a very noisy chair. I was really unsure about recording this video because January is almost over, but I've been really busy doing like stuff to get my degree approved, and I haven't had much time. But a friend told me that I should record it anyway, so here I am. And I'm actually gonna use my reading journal as support because I have really bad memory, and like I can't remember things if I read what I thought of them. So yeah. Anyways, let's start. The books are in no particular order. They're just they're in no particular like preference order. They're just in the order that I read them. And the first one is actually a trilogy, and it's the Captive Prince trilogy. Now I know what some of you might say. The first book, really bad, really questionable, but it is worth getting through the first book to read the second and third books. The second book is tied in for first place of the best book I read in 2022. The second one is later on in the list. Princess Gambit, which is the second book of Captive Prince, is such a brilliantly constructed book. Like the talks of strategy, like war planning, the angst between the main romantic pair, and not only the main like characters but also the side characters. There is a lot of angst in the book if you like reading that. It's nothing compared to the first book, which honestly I gave it like 2 stars, and I did consider lowering it. But in the end, it did serve as a good introduction for what the second book and third book gave you later. It's just that the first book has some very delicate trigger warnings that I advise you to please look up, and it's just gratuitous. Like, there's no point of those trigger warnings being in the story. Bad taste. But the second and the third books fix that, and just the development of the romance feels very natural, and everything has like very high costs. I will say, like, you will get a little bit tense just reading and seeing how things happen. The second book is my favorite of the trilogy. Also, I did give both the second and third book 5 stars, but as one of my best friends puts it, the third book is what has to happen, so it's not as interesting as the second book, but they are very well worth the read. They are a fantasy historical romance, and it's queer. The main characters are 2 men, and there's a lot of discussion surrounding the book. I personally don't feel like it romanticizes the topics it talks about. Our opinion might differ, but it's just the delivery is immaculate. The writing is really good. It's easy to read, easy to digest, also keeping things interesting. And just please read them. Do yourself a favor and read them. Only if you can stomach the trigger warnings in the first book, though. Please look up the trigger warnings for the 3 books. Second book is American Gods by Neil Gaiman, and I actually hate that this book made the list because I have a love-hate relationship with this book, but I did give it 5 stars. This book, I feel like it shouldn't have been as good as it was, mainly because for some reason it feels like nothing is happening as you're reading it, and yet it's so interesting and so intricate, and the way that the author wraps up all of the like little plot points by the end of the book feels so satisfying. I really, really like the ending of the book. It made the book 5 stars for me. There's a lot of uncomfortable, not safe for work references throughout the book, probably because it has a lot to do with mythology, and mythology is often accompanied by those kinds of things. But it was very enjoyable. its strength is the attention to detail. Like, if you like things being detailed and like very well thought out and very well explained, this book is for you. You're gonna enjoy it very much. It's a very long book. This edition that I have, which is the pocket edition, I think that's what they're called, is 560 pages long. So it's a hefty boy, but it's really good. I recommend it. The third book is called The Gilded Ones by Namina Forna. This book, the world building, it's really intricate, really interesting. I don't think I've ever read a book like that before. And it's fantasy and it's YA, but it's a lot more ruthless than you would expect for a YA. Like, it's actually kind of gory at some points, which look up the trigger warnings again for this one. I love it. I absolutely love it. I give it 4.5 stars. The premise was really interesting, and I loved how it developed and how the main character, I don't remember the names, even though I just read the second book. I'm so sorry. Oh, Decca, I have it here. I love how the main character, Decca, sort of grows as the story advances, and I really, really love the main friendship, which is Decca with a girl named Brita. The romance, I wouldn't say romance is one of the main focuses of the book. It does have a little bit of romance, but in the first book, it feels a bit rushed. It feels a bit plain. Like, I didn't like it very much. Not that I didn't like it, more like I was expecting a little bit more. But it does get better in the second book, which I read like a few days ago. It was one of my first books of 2023, so I would say like it is worth going through it just to read like the story. Fantastic book, seriously recommended, especially because the second book is also really good, but I'm not supposed to talk about that here because that's from 2023, so let's continue. Book number, what am I on for? is Legendborn. I know, well, everyone in my circle has been talking about this book, but please do yourself a favor and read Legendborn. It's a masterpiece of fantasy YA fiction. I give it 5 stars. It's perfect. For like quite a good part of it, I was like, I'm gonna give it 4 stars, 4.5 stars, but then the revelations at the end of the book were chef's kiss. I enjoyed them so much. The spin that they gave to like Arthurian legends is really good. It's like you take Arthurian legends and make them into a magic system. Super cool, especially if you are a fan of like Arthurian legends. I don't know them very well. I know just a little bit from my time in university, but I'm very interested into getting into Arthurian legends because of this book. It's just so good, and I cannot wait to read Bloodmarked, which I'm on the waiting list for it on Libby, so Levi, I think it's pronounced Libby. So anyways, I can't wait. This book is so good, and this is the book that I said is tied on for first place with Prince Gambit. This was by Tracy Dion. It's so good. It is a long book, but it's absolutely worth it. And honestly, I have no idea what's gonna happen in Bloodmarked, but I've heard it's just as good as Legendborn, so I'm really, really excited for it. On to book number 5. So book number 5, I wasn't sure if I was going to put it into the video or not, but it's called Monday's Not Coming by Tiffany D. Jackson. This is a mystery thriller contemporary YA book. I gave it 4 stars, and this is probably the lowest rating I gave amongst the books that I chose for this video, but I couldn't not choose it simply because of how it made me feel. Again, read the trigger warnings for this book because there's a lot of them. This book broke my heart. When I read the summary, I knew that I was going to do it because it has like a similar premise to another book I read a long time ago called Sadie, which is also really sad and heartbreaking, and it's just so painful. It's nothing prepared me for the twist at the end of the book. It was really good, like the revelations and the way it developed. It's gonna take your heart and it's gonna squeeze it like this, and it's gonna make you suffer, but it's so good. It definitely pulls some heartstrings with the topics that it treats, but I definitely think you should read them if you can stomach the trigger warnings, because it's, you know, it's kind of eye-opening in a way. I don't know, great book, really good, definitely one of the most memorable ones that I read during the year of 2020. Next book, which I think is number 6, is The Sun Is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon. I was not expecting to like this book this much because I'm not a romance reader. Like, I primarily read fantasy, and I like romance, but I prefer it as a side genre and not like the main genre. But this book gave me such a serotonin rush. Like, I enjoyed it so much. It was so good. I feel like if I like this book less, I would have more to say about it, but it's just so good. It's really cute, it's really sweet, it's really funny. It made me like laugh, cry. It gave me a lot to think about. I'm reading my notes. I rooted for the characters since the moment they met. And I understand this book is not for everyone because it's kind of like a love at first sight kind of book. And I know that's not for everyone, but it's, I don't know. I didn't think a love story like this could be told, but it exists. And I'm thankful it does because I enjoyed it so much. This was originally my best book of the month in February, but then as the happiness fizzled out, Legendborn became my best book of the month, because most of these books I read them in February. Like, everything since Neil Gaiman that I've shared, I've read it in February. So yeah, I also gave this book 5 stars. It's very entertaining, it's very sweet. It does play a little bit into like with your imagination, because I don't think a romance like this could be possible in real life. I don't think it would work, but the author makes it work, and it's just very funny, very sweet. If you're looking for a quick read that's just like bubbly and happy, this book is for you. It does have a little bit of angst, but it's not too much that like will make you feel bad. It's just, you know, there to keep the story going. And finally, my 7th book is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I know that this book is probably also in like everyone's favorite books of 2022. It was really good. I read this book in April. I gave it 5 stars. My best friend would not stop recommending this book to me because she said I will like the twist. The thing is, I guessed the twist like very early on. Honestly, I don't think there's anyone who doesn't know what the twist is, but just in case, I'm not gonna speak about it. It is a beautifully written story about incredibly complex characters, and it feels alive. Like, the characters feel alive, they feel realistic, they feel very well shaped. It's a very interesting format. I'm not like a fan of biographies or autobiographies or interviews and stuff like that, so I wasn't sure if I was gonna like it, but I enjoyed it quite a lot. Still, I don't think, I've heard that this author mainly focuses on that kind of writing style, and I'm not sure if I would read more books like that, because it's not my style, despite how much I like this book. I think that the reason I like this book that much is because I connected with it in ways I was not expecting to connect. So, but it was a fantastic book. It made me feel many different things. Just, if you haven't read it yet, do yourself a favor and read it. There's a reason why it's one of the best books of 2022 for a lot of people. So yeah, go for it. Okay, so that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed watching it. I feel like I read a lot of old books, like books that came out quite a few years ago. So it's probably gonna be like a normal list compared to other creators, but I still hope that you like my recommendations, my top 7/8 of my favorite books that I read in 2022. And if you've read any of these books, tell me in the comments what you thought of them. If you haven't, maybe tell me if you're interested in reading any of them. And yeah, I don't know if I made this video right, but anyways, bye!